Hello everybody, I'm Laura Beddoe and this is Self-Care Sunday. I know that this is airing on a Monday evening. It's because me and Jade were supposed to go live last night, but we were experiencing some technical issues. So you are still going to get the amazing content, and we are going to give you some tools. We're going to show you our stories that we went from the darkness into the light, and now we are completely in self-love and we are offering it to our clients. So she's going to be my first guest and I'm so excited. I am going to tell you my story first. I'm sure that some of you have already heard this story, but for all of those that are new, make sure that you comment and tell me where you're from, and just let us know if you have any questions. We will answer them. Obviously, because this isn't a live video, we will answer any questions that you have in the comments below after you've watched this live feed, stream, video. So, I created Self-Care Sunday to help people to awaken and love every part of themselves on this journey that we call life. And life is a journey, and sometimes you have the highs and the lows, but it's all great, and it's just about dealing with all of the things that happen and just enjoy the ride. So my specialist areas are self-love, romance, career and finance. So I wanted to create a beaming light to capture people's attention to a holistic approach to healing, personal development and self-care. And I wanted to share my story with you first. So my spiritual journey started about 10 years ago, and somebody handed me the book by Rhonda Byrne, The Secret. I was in a real dark time. I'd made several attempts to take my own life, and that, even just saying that now, I was a young 20-year-old woman in my early 20s, and I was in such a dark place that I just didn't want to be here anymore. And the book of The Secret, and it really opened up my awareness to how I was speaking to myself and changing that to have a positive outlook, and I started to implement it into my life. But I think at the time I was thinking that it was all about manifesting people, places, things into my life, and not actually looking at how I felt inside. So I did actually manifest some really amazing, cool things into my life using the law of attraction, but I was really empty, and I was repeating the same cycles, and it was getting darker and darker in the fact that I was self-sabotaging with drugs, and I was picking very toxic relationships that really didn't serve me, and I just thought it was all about the things that I had. And it came to a real meltdown, breakdown about 3 years ago, when I just had what I would describe as a hole in my soul, and I just felt sad again, not to the extent that I wanted to take my own life, but I just felt really empty, and that's when I believe that I had my spiritual awakening. I had some sort of calling to tell me, you know, life isn't just about how you're perceived, what people think, just the material things, great, but I can be with or without them. I love nice things, don't get me wrong, as everybody will know that follows me. I love I love nice things. But if they were all taken away from me, would I still love myself? Yes. Would I still love my son with all of my heart? Would I provide for him and be the best mum that I could be? Yes. So it's just through learning simple skills like praying, through treating myself right, my body, exercise, nutrition, by just affirmations, and meditation is such a big part of my setting my day as an intention. And I've got a meditation that I've just released on my 7 days of spiritual practice. If you haven't already, the link will be in the comments, as will the links, any links that for Jade's, anything that Jade mentions, they will all be in the comments and available for you to access. So yes, starting the day with intention just got me on the right path, and just made me realise that I needed to deal with the root cause of why I was feeling down and why I was feeling this despair. And yeah, I just believe that a lot of people, including my clients and myself, are going upwards, asking for help, asking for a lighter life or spiritual practice, but they're not dealing with the basement, the root cause, your root chakra. That's where it holds anything that doesn't connect you to Mother Earth. And once I cleaned the basement out, that's when the real magic started to happen, and the self-love came, and the perfect partner for me, my soulmate, came. And yeah, just my life is just so different now. So that's my story. I also got into Reiki, so that's also helped me on my journey and is included in my spiritual toolkit. So this week we have our first guest speaker, as I said, Jade Elizabeth. She's a hypnotherapist and NLP worker, and she is also in the holistic field. So a massive warm welcome to Jade. And we are also friends. We've known each other for around 2 years, and we've started our businesses around the same time. So all very exciting. So hello, Jade. How are you?
Hi Laura, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I love what you said just then. You know, happiness comes from within 100%. And if we don't deal with the root cause of things, then we can only sort of make temporary changes. We need to sort of, yeah, as you say, clear out that basement. I'm the owner of Jade Elizabeth Coaching, and I offer a holistic service which includes hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming. And for those of you who don't know what hypnotherapy is, basically it's accessing the subconscious to rewire ingrained negative behavioral patterns, and these patterns you might not even be aware of because they could be subconscious, and could be things that actually come from your very early childhood, but they manifest in fear-based thinking, negative self-talk, negative habits, anxiety, low self-esteem. And what I do through my therapy is facilitate my clients in removing these blocks. It's almost like removing the viruses from your head computer, and stopping these getting in the way of them realigning with their light, reaching their highest potential. And it's amazing witnessing my clients being the people that they always could be, achieving their dreams and their goals. I've had clients that have changed career, you know, finally had the confidence to do something they really, really wanted to do, and they're flying now. It's amazing. And you know, and they don't have these things holding them back anymore. And it's absolutely brilliant to help facilitate that.
Yeah, amazing. I've had hypnotherapy, it's part of my journey, and yeah, as you said, just having that the coding in your brain rewired, so that you basically, the way that my brain was wired is very much to the sense that I just was fearful of everything around me. You know, my childhood was very much, I felt like I was it was a survival, and exploring all of the energy centres is very similar to what you do, and I'm really passionate about hypnotherapy as well. I've experienced it. I had a lot of coding in my brain unconsciously that was keeping me safe, regardless of what I actually wanted to do. I mean, I got the I call my ego the mean girl. I know that you call yours, you've got a name for your ego, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry if anyone's called this, but I call mine Brenda, only because I had a very mean step granny called Brenda.
Yeah, so my mean girl, she's a bit of a bitch sometimes. She can be very bossy. She likes to tell me that I can't do a lot of things, and she likes to tell me that what other people think of me in a negative way, which is all BS, absolute BS. But it's just my ego picking up on the negative experiences that I've had, and then trying to keep me safe. And when I experienced the hypnotherapy myself, I just opened up and realized, it made me realize that everything isn't a danger because of that rewiring and that recoding. So I recommend anybody that has post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, trying to give something up, because that's the root cause of that, is mainly because of something you're not dealing with.
Yeah, 100%.
Are definitely both really good treatments for that. So
yeah, and I just wanted to say about the inner critic is that actually deep down it is actually trying to protect you. It's gone into overdrive. It's trying to keep you safe. It's got pretty nasty, but it's actually its core reason, you know, it sort of started off because it wanted to keep you safe and protected, like you said. You know, you can't do that, don't do that, that's scary. But you don't need it. You don't need that anymore. There might have been a time in your childhood or something when you did need it, but you don't need it now. So what I recommend to my clients, and in talks that I've done, is to actually befriend your inner critic, and that's why I suggest giving it a name or a character. I kind of give it a funny image as well, so I can almost laugh at it, and rather than sort of getting angry with it, I'll just say, Brenda, go and put your feet up, have a cup of tea, it's okay, I've got this.
Yeah, and that's completely what I got from, we go to a circle meeting, which again, Jade runs workshops and I run workshops, but we both go to a workshop together called the Red Tent. I'm actually interviewing the facilitator, Natalie, in 2 weeks, so you'll all get to hear from her as well. But yes, Jade said about the last time we went to one, to befriend her, the mean girl, and yeah, and I've definitely taken that on board. And when that negative chatter does arise in me, I definitely just say, you know, it's cool, I've got this, you can chill. So, with your spiritual journey, what would you say was your pivotal moment? Did you have an awakening, or It was.
Yeah, I had a really profound experience actually. I spent a long part of my life in a really dark place, and it was getting darker and darker. And I, like, you know, similar to you, I got to the point where I didn't want to be here. I hadn't processed past trauma, and I had pushed it down thinking I didn't have to deal with it. Whereas actually what happens with everybody is when you don't deal with things, they come out in other ways, and it came out in bad mental and physical health. And I had absolutely deafening negative self-talk. It was on me all the time from the moment I woke up. I didn't have any self-esteem or self-worth, and I had really unhealthy habits and behaviours. I didn't love myself, and I did self-abuse, and because I was feeling that way about myself, and I was projecting that energy, I also attracted very negative people and experiences into my life during that time as well. So I got to a point where it was, you know, something drastic's got to change. I was working in the legal field, and I spent a year retraining as a hypnotherapist and neuro-linguistic programming coach 4 years ago. And it was during an exercise where I was actually under hypnosis, and it was called A Fork in the Road. And it was where the point of this exercise was about changing a negative behavioural pattern. And I was in trance, and I saw crystal clear my life. If I carried on down the route I was going, I saw where I would be in 10 years' time, and it was really dark and it was really desperate. And I saw on the other path where I could be if I made all these positive changes in my life, and it was really beautiful and joyful, and it was just absolutely life-changing for me. I crystal clear saw the two paths that I could go down, and I knew what I had to do.
That's just amazing. That's such an amazing story. But again, for anybody that is watching, you know, not everybody necessarily has a spiritual awakening. Some people get maybe a pull towards this kind of lifestyle. Like if you're watching this video now, then of course you are starting to awaken, because nothing happens but for a coincidence. And every time that I do a video for Self-Care Sunday, I do a little prayer, and I request for people that need healing, need to hear this, to link in with your guides, and so that you can step on your path of your highest intention as well. So
yeah. So I started, so basically, I trained as a hypnotherapist, and I'd actually started meditating before that. I started meditating 6 years ago, which kind of was the turning point, because when I went to group guided meditation, which I would recommend to people who are new to meditation. And for the first time in my entire life, I started to get a glimpse of the peace of mind that I actually feel most of the time now, and the negative chatter, you know, just that little moment of peace from the negative chatter. And for anyone who's interested, if you join my Facebook page, Choose Self Therapy, I am running a meditation group in September, in the middle of September, a guided meditation group. And I learned other practices to raise my vibration, and I know that you've spoken about them already, and it was learning gratitude, you know, just rewiring. Basically, we have a biological negative bias, and it's been like that for thousands of years, because 2,000 years ago, or longer, we needed to look out for the dangers. And I'll give you an example. If somebody says 3 things to you that they like about you and 1 thing that they don't like, what's the 1 thing you remember? It's the 1 thing they don't like. And we still have that biological negative bias, but we don't need it anymore. And basically, gratitude lists have been proven to neurologically, again, just rewire that negative bias. So I started writing gratitude lists every morning. Yeah. So help my brain focus on what I was grateful for. I started saying positive affirmations in the morning, affirmations that I learned from Louise Hay, like I am loving and lovable and loved, all is well in my world, and lots of really positive ones. But it's interesting because I did all the positive affirmations in the morning, but I read a book by Louise Hay recently where she said everything that you say or think is an affirmation, and so that was really interesting to me, because I realized that when I was saying to myself, oh, I'm really not looking forward to this thing I've got to do tonight or whatever, that is also an affirmation. So it just really reminded me to be mindful of my thoughts, and what I say, and we can't always control our first thought because it's unconscious, but what we can do is we can control our second thought, so we can just flip that round, to something more positive. I also learned visualization. I found that positive visualization really, really helpful, setting intentions for the day. And then I also did go for external help to process past trauma. And it's really, really important to process feelings, because as I say, if you don't, they do come out in other ways.
Yeah, come out sideways somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you wanted to, I wanted to ask you as well, what would be your top tip for to live as your highest divine self? How do you show up every day? What is the story that you tell yourself?
Well, as Marianne Williams said, we're either moving towards love or away from love. And I spent a lot of my life moving away from love. I had a complete lack of self-love, and I treated myself that way. And so my top tip would be to honor yourself. And when I say that, I mean honor your feelings, good and bad. As the life experience is experiencing the whole spectrum of emotions, and it's just rather than pushing down bad emotions, just accept them, accept what you're going through. This is what it is. And by actually accepting them, you'll be able to process them, and they will pass quicker anyway. But it's really important to honor all of your feelings. And honoring your mind and body. I self-abused because I didn't love myself many years ago. I now honor my mind and body. I eat healthily, I exercise with my mind, I meditate every morning. It doesn't have to be long, it can even just be 5-10 minutes. I do self-care practices because my health and well-being is now my top priority, and I really recommend that it is everyone's top priority. I try and live my life with honesty and integrity, because it's really, really important for me to have love and respect for myself. And I absolutely believe that the energy you put out into the world is the energy you get back. And I've got absolute proof of that by acting with honesty and integrity. I have had, my life has absolutely transformed, and also being of service. I get just as much out of being of service to other people as they do, and again, it massively increases my self-love, my sense of self-worth, my self-esteem, and and yeah, my self-belief, I just, you know, my self-love, you know, I love myself now, and you know, that is so important.
Yeah, amazing. And that really shows. You do look amazing. You really do. You can really see it's glowing out of you, girl. Okay, and the last question I wanted to ask for the viewers is, what are your top 3 idols or books to read which you love and think everybody should know about?
Okay, so they go in chronological order, actually, of my journey of healing. It's actually started off about 6 years ago. The first book that I read, which was really transformative, was You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. And her story of her childhood really resonated with me, and she'd gone from that to a place of pure love, pure joy, and just pure and service to others. And I thought, you know, I needed to know that it was possible. And she taught me, you know, through reading that book, she actually taught me that I had the power to do that. You know, the power absolutely comes from within. I could carry on, you know, carrying around the carcass of my past, you know, for the rest of my life, but I needed to lay it to rest. And she, you know, she made me realize that I wasn't powerless, I wasn't a victim, I had the power to make a beautiful life, and you know, and I could do that. And an excerpt from that book, I just like to read, is she said, when we create peace, harmony and balance in our minds, we will find it in our lives. And that's 100% been the case for me. It all starts with our minds, and then our external experiences do change for the better once we start, you know, creating positivity, you know, a positive space in your mind.
Yeah,
nice place to be.
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's funny because on the outside everything is always the same. It's what's going on in the inside,
yeah,
that isn't. You know, you can wake up one day in the same scenario and just have a completely different mindset. It's just about maintaining that and knowing that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you.
100%, yeah.
When you get into that mindset, if you're going into a victim mindset, or you're thinking of something fear-based, or you're thinking of something that isn't going to serve your highest intention, it's actually, for me, and what I try to teach my clients is to release that with love, and then go back to honouring that the universe is working for you.
Yeah, I really agree. And with these sort of, you know, we can't control external situations, but we can 100% control how we respond to them. So, you know, you have a choice. You know, maybe something not so good happens, and you could either just completely run away with it. Why does this always happen to me? Life's so unfair. You know, this is terrible. Or you could have acceptance. This thing has happened. There's nothing I can do to change it. So what I need to do now is do the next right thing to deal with it. And once I've done that, I do the next right thing. And you're just getting rid of a lot of the internal turmoil. Yeah.
Instead of just repeating that same story on loop. And that's what I did. I just repeated this same story, that I was a victim and life's against me and everything's so unfair. And that's what went on and on and on in my mind. And
yeah. And yeah. I would never talk to anybody the way that I used to talk to myself. And I'm sure lots of people can identify with that. And that was, you know, that's part of my top tip about honouring yourself. You know, have compassion for yourself. None of us are perfect. None of it, you know, it's normal and natural to make mistakes. It's not normal to be a perfect human being. Otherwise we'd be a robot, you know.
Yeah.
We can't get everything right all the time, and it's so important to have compassion towards ourselves, be our own best friends. You know, ask myself, you know, I can ask myself, what would love do?
Yeah, amazing. And your second book, or?
So my second book, which I read, which really had a huge impact on me, was A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. And basically it's related to a text called The Course in Miracles. And after reading that, I did actually do the course. It is a year's course, so it takes a long time, but she takes the main principles, main principles from it. So it's a great, an incredible book to read, and I've just got an excerpt from that book which I'd like to read.
I love it, you're so prepared.
I know. And she said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Your playing small doesn't serve the world. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others the permission to do the same. And this is what my work is all about. It's, you know, don't place, you know, there's no, your playing small doesn't serve you, it doesn't serve anybody else. And as she's said, you know, when you realign yourself with your highest potential, you actually empower other people to do the same. It is contagious.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually just started reading that book myself, and yeah, all of the top coaches, Gabrielle Bernstein, Tony Robinson, they've all done the course, haven't they?
Yeah.
So yes, might be something to look into, but I'm reading the book at the moment. And your third,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And what I would say about that as well, about that quote, is if you're worried, you know, when you're celebrating your successes, if you're worried that people are going to be, you know, if you're worried about doing it because you think, you know, people might be jealous or envious, what I would say about that is, if you are that person who ever finds yourself jealous or envious of somebody being really successful, somebody having a fabulous relationship, somebody having a great car, somebody having, you know, an amazing job or whatever, that's actually coming from a lack mentality. And what I would say about that is that life is unlimitedly abundant. There isn't a finite. Just because somebody's got more money than you doesn't mean that there's only a certain amount of money to go round, and they've got something, because they've got it, you're not going to have it. There is infinite abundance in the universe, and so we can celebrate each other's successes because of this. There's not, you know, they haven't taken anything from you. There's enough for us all.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I just completely agree with you, and yeah, I identify with so much that you say. Louise Hay, Eckhart Tolle, and A Course in Miracles are all part of my journey as well. So yeah, it's just it does blow me away a little bit when we get chatting. And we could probably chat all night, but yes.
Well, that brings me on to my third book,
yeah.
The Tolle book, because most people, a lot of more people know about The Power of Now, and I've read that and I thought that was absolutely incredible. It completely blew my mind. You know, to learn to be in the present moment, because actually the present moment is all there is. It's just a succession of present moments. And it's like, as human beings, it's almost like we're looking forward, we're waiting for something to happen, whereas actually all there is the present moment, and then the next moment is then the present moment, and then the next moment end of it. And it's kind of, it's kind of difficult to get your head around at first, but when you do, it really is quite life-changing. And anyway, his a later book he wrote, A New Earth, I feel it's absolutely incredible, and I've got an excerpt from that as well. And he said, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation but your thoughts about it. And this is something that we've already spoken to, so that completely resonates with what we've spoken about, so it completely resonates with us. Acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is the foundation of all abundance, and that's 100%. I found that to be 100% true. Gratitude attracts more to be grateful for. Gratitude attracts abundance. And he said, life will give you whatever experience is most helpful to the evolution of your consciousness. And that was really, really important for me to hear, because I needed to know that my negative experiences did have a purpose. And, and I was broken open, and I think you were broken open as well. And the crack, I've heard it said before, the cracks are where the light gets in. And for me, that's 100% been the case. I've had some very traumatic experiences from in my life, but they really did push me into a place where I had to, my consciousness had to evolve, and it's made all of my experiences, good and bad, have made me into the person that I am, and they've made me someone who's now able to facilitate other people to make really positive changes in their life. So I actually wouldn't take back anything.
Yeah, and I just completely agree. I've had some horrible things happen in my life, and now I choose not to think of them as me being a victim, and I almost treat it as though it was something that happened to me so that I could experience it and learn from it, grow from it, and learn how to lean into love rather than fear, and teach other people how to do it. I genuinely think that that's what my life purpose is. Like, I genuinely do. And yeah, I don't get me wrong, I do have some days where it's better than others, but yeah, I completely agree. I haven't read New Earth, but that is on my list of books to read. Yeah, obviously being a mum and a dog, a fur baby mummy, and running a house, and yeah, it takes me a little bit longer, I would say, to read a book than you. Yes, I will.
I've got all the time in the world.
No, I know you haven't got all the time in the world, but I know that you have lots on. But yeah, it's definitely on my list of books. So thank you so much for all of your wisdom and all of your everything. Honestly, it's just been an absolute pleasure to have you as my first guest. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to just watching your career unfold, and yeah, just touching people's lives. And I know that we've already spoken about doing some things together. And as I said to everybody that's watching this video, all of the links will be provided for everything that we've spoken about, including the books. And I do my workshop, which actually launches on Saturday morning, True Essence Meditation. It's all about healing the heart, the sacral chakra, and falling in love with yourself completely. And I know that Jade has already mentioned that she's doing a workshop. And whereabouts are you based if somebody wanted to come?
I'm doing a couple of workshops in Worthing. I'm doing both in September, both mid-September. If you go to True I'm having trouble saying it today, True Self Therapy. I'm doing a confidence and self-esteem workshop, and I'm also doing a mindfulness and meditation workshop, and they are both in Worthing.
Okay, fantastic. So if anybody does want to find out more information, send me an inbox. I will send it over to Jade, or if anybody sees this that is currently on Jade's feeds and you want to ask me a question, send me an inbox and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Again, if you have any questions about this stream, then please write in the comments, write where you're from, what you give us some feedback, and yeah, I look forward to hearing all about what you think. And love and light to you, Jade.
Thank you, Laura. You're an absolutely beautiful soul, and it's been wonderful to see your growth. You know, we kind of grown alongside each other, and yeah, life's beautiful, and it's been another magical day. So yeah, thank you for your part in that.
Yes, and we got through the technical issues, and this is going to be a wonderful tools, and this is going to help, even if it just helps one person, then I am a happy woman.
Yeah.